Sometimes I wish I didn't go the more sustainable route because this apartment is full of wedding stuff and I kind of wish I just threw everything out instead of trying to be sustainable. Hey besties, and welcome back to Sustainability Sunday, where on Sundays I teach you how to live life a little bit more sustainably without hugely changing your lifestyle or breaking the bank. This week's Sustainability Sunday is going to be a little bit different. This isn't going to be how your average person can be slightly more sustainable. This is how I had a more sustainable wedding. Yes, I had a little hiatus, and that's because I was getting married and everything was going wrong, so I needed to focus on making sure that everything went right. Now yes, it is going to be about how my wedding was more sustainable, but it's also going to be half about how my wedding was more affordable. Because let's be honest, a lot of people go sustainable because they're looking to save money. So this is gonna be it. The hacks, the tips, the tricks, what I tried to do that didn't work out, what I did instead. Let's get right into it. We'll start with the venue. Is it technically more sustainable, the venue that we got? I don't know if I would say that, but it was definitely affordable. I didn't look up wedding venues because there's something that people lovingly call the wedding tax. If you add the word wedding to something, it pretty much doubles or triples in price immediately. We looked up an event venue. We found an old factory building that was converted into an event space. We were actually the first wedding to book there, but we also booked like 3 years in advance. So we got it for a steal. If you were to book it for a weekend in the fall now, it starts at like, I think 18 grand, and we got it for like 5, which I know if you're in other parts of the country, you might be like, oh my God, that's so expensive. This wasn't in our hometown, but this was in New England. It's very unusual to find a venue for that price in this area. They did include tables and chairs and all that. They included a day of coordinator. They included so much that when we first booked, they didn't say they were including, but as the venue was building itself up, they started including more things, so we just got it for free. They also gave us a free photo booth. Our wedding was themed, so in and of itself, it would be kind of more expensive than a normal wedding. In theory, I think it actually helped us to keep the prices lower by it being themed. This was our welcome sign. It was a template that we bought off of Etsy, which I can link if anyone's interested. It came with invitations. It came with the welcome sign. It came with a few other things. I'm pretty sure it came with these passes too. This was one of my favorite things. We did this for the whole bridal party. We bought a template. We personalized it in Canva, made some changes. Got it printed up at CVS or Walgreens or one of those that was offering a coupon. I think it was CVS with a half off print deal. And then we used a photo frame that we already had. We have a use for the picture frame now. It's quite literally going to have a poster and go in our bathroom. We're just reusing things that we already have. These passes we got for the entire bridal party and our officiant. Obviously the one that says bride and all access was not for them. It said bridal party, it said VIP. We had them made at a local print shop where I know the owner's family. The owner's family and I go way, way back. The lanyards, we got super cheap on Amazon. As dumb as it sounds, that's something that most of my bridesmaids have said that they're going to be keeping more than they would any other gift that said bridesmaid on it. People hang things like that in their room or from their rearview mirror. I thought it was going to be fun for everyone to wear them, but now everyone's excited to keep them. That's more sustainable than getting something that says bridesmaid that they're just going to throw away. Our seating chart. Yes, I'm blurring out the names because last names are private. This was just a normal canvas. My friend has a Cricut. We used that to put the title in vinyl on it, which afterwards we're able to peel right off of it. All the names and the table themes, we printed them on paper that we then attached to it. Partially because I did not have it in me to handwrite everybody's name on there, but partially because we just removed the paper and now it's just a blank canvas. I don't paint, but one of my good friends does, so she's getting the canvas. That way nothing's going to waste here. For the decor, a lot of it was either free or from the dollar store, but we DIY'd it to make it better. The centerpieces. Each centerpiece had this at its core. This was a $1, well, $1.25 glass cutting board from Dollar Tree that we took napkins and decoupaged onto the back. And by we, I mean my cousin and I did it, and it didn't turn out great, so my cousin redid all of them. Shoutouts to my cousin Molly for being the real MVP. We now have a bunch of these at home. So if you were involved in the wedding, you didn't hear this, but this is going, one of these, to each member of the bridal party as part of their Christmas gift. So if you're part of the bridal party, you didn't hear that. Especially you, Gabby. My bridesmaid Gabby kept asking me what I was doing with them because she wanted one, and I told her to shut up and wait till Christmas. Would I suggest using them as cutting boards? No, I use them as trivets. Stacked on top of those, we had these. These were CD cases. They were just plain empty CD cases. We did a QR code to a Spotify playlist instead of putting actual mixed CDs in them, because while I really wanted to do actual mixed CDs, people don't have CD players anymore. Originally, the plan had been that we were trying to gather a bunch of CDs from Buy Nothing groups, and we were going to stack actual CDs in the middle of every table. And that didn't work out. My friend Audrey, love her so much. She has a Cricut, she helped me with so much. And this is what I did for the bridal party, plus my cousin, who worked as our day of coordinator so I wouldn't get stressed. She was the middleman for everything. And my childhood nanny, who's our officiant, which was also more sustainable and saved us money. We didn't have to pay for a separate wedding coordinator, and we didn't have to pay for an officiant. Audrey was very happy to use her Cricut to help me DIY gifts. These were water bottles and koozies that somebody posted on a Buy Nothing group. I was like, that's perfect. There were exactly enough water bottles for my bridesmaids, myself, and then my cousin and our officiant to have one. We customized the outside with lyrics. This is Ohio is for Lovers by Hawthorne Heights, if you didn't know. Having a Warped Tour themed wedding, who would I be if I didn't have a Warped Tour song type lyric? And then the bottles themselves had everybody's name on them. Again, if you just get things that say bridesmaid, it's just gonna get donated. No one's going to use it. If you get it customized with their name, completely different story. The gifts were free. I was going to pay for the vinyl for the Cricut, but Audrey just got it and did it for me. So technically, these were free for me. And they're a lot more sustainable than if I went out and I bought cups or water bottles that were labeled as bridesmaid. No one would keep those. Our guest book was way more sustainable. We literally got a photo album that my cousin wrote autograph book on because she has way better penmanship than I do. We got a bunch of index cards. We set up my Polaroid camera in stacks, but my instant camera. Kelsey, my bridesmaid, borrowed her sister's camera, so we had two of them set up. And quite literally, we just told people, take a selfie, write a note, slide it into the page of the photo album. And in my opinion, it worked great. Like, look at that. And it's way cheaper than if we were to buy a Polaroid guest book or any type of guest book. Again, one camera I already had, the other was Kelsey's sister, so I didn't have to pay anything for that. We bought more film, which I would have to do eventually for my camera anyways. Way cheaper than buying a guest book, and technically can use it for other things. When we print up the actual wedding photos, the pages that are not full on here, we can then fill the rest of them with wedding photos. I feel like that's definitely something that will be more used than a normal guest book that people signed. Programs are something I hear people debating about a lot. We had a sign that I designed in Canva, printed on the printer, used a Dollar Tree photo frame for that we can use for 1,000,005 different things afterwards. So literally, will I just throw away this piece of paper? Probably, but I'll use the frame for something else. And this is our program. It was literally designed to just look like a set list. Are the excess of them probably going to waste? A lot, maybe. Might get tossed in the recycling. But my cousin is also helping me make a collage of what we have left from the wedding. Again, my cousin Molly, such an MVP. I can't thank her enough for everything she's done. Most of our decor was DIY or things that we got completely free off of the Buy Nothing group. For example, if you saw some of the table themes, one was the AOL/AIM table. When we'd been asking for CDs, somebody gave us a bunch of AOL internet discs. We used those as decor, along with printing out some cute little AOL related pictures, be it different away messages that we've seen, or even one that was just the AIM logo. We had the MySpace table where we printed up different MySpace related pictures and we put them in frames that we will reuse the frames. We had a Hot Topic table. We had Hot Topic shopping bags, Hot Topic cash scattered out, and those were things that we went to some of the stores and we said, hey, this is what we're doing for our wedding theme. Is there anything you can do to help us out? Vans was really good to us actually, given that Vans has always sponsored Warped Tour. They gave us shopping bags, they gave us shoe boxes to put up. Vans was good to us. Journeys was really good to us as well, since Journeys was also a big sponsor. They were so excited. You know, looking at all the different sponsors, we had a table that was Ghost Energy, which was the table specifically for people that didn't RSVP but showed up anyways. We went to Walmart. We bought some cans of Ghost. And you know what happened? They all got drank. We had a Monster Energy table. Those all got drank. Slim Jims had been a big sponsor, so we got some boxes of Slim Jims and just scattered them on the table. And you know what? My cousin was so excited to be at that table because she loves Slim Jims, and those all got eaten. Literally, for extra table decor, we did things that people would actually enjoy. A lot of them were edible things. A lot of them were cute little decor things that people would appreciate. They were mostly free, if not very discounted, and they got put to use. We had shelves behind the bar that we got to decorate. A very, very, very kind woman on my local Buy Nothing group gifted me a bunch of vintage cameras. So I put a lot of them up because, hi, what's Warped Tour without concert photography? To go with those, we also got a bunch of vases from the thrift store. We're gonna get Dollar Tree ones, but they didn't have enough that matched. Whereas these from the thrift store, $2 compared to $125, still affordable. We got a bunch of them. They were just plain glass that, again, my cousin decoupaged these napkins onto. I was also given a bunch of faux eucalyptus. Emphasis on the given. This was not something I went out and purchased. I was gifted a giant bag of faux eucalyptus. And we quite literally just stuffed these all full of eucalyptus, had it hanging over the edge like that. Boom, that was decor on the shelves behind the bar. And you know what makes it even better? I wanted stuff like this for my home. I had been looking to find what we called waterfall faux eucalyptus for home decor for a few months before I'm like, wait, why don't we put that behind the bar? I'm fully reusing this. I'm so excited. But I guess that brings us into florals, which is normally one of the most expensive parts of the wedding. We didn't do the normal floral route. One of the bridesmaids left her bouquet behind, so I still have it. These are faux florals. We literally went to the craft store, bought, each bridesmaid got 2 things of faux eucalyptus and the little pink flowers, 1 thing of those. We literally just put them together, wrapped it in twine, sealed it with some hot glue on the bottom as well as the hot glue here. And this was each bridesmaid's bouquet. I want to say maybe $5 total for each bouquet. My maid of honor got hers a little bit extra. We put a faux succulent in hers because I had succulents in my bouquet. So hers was a little bit bigger. She had some extra eucalyptus. She had a faux succulent, but under $10 a bouquet. I will say I did have a real bouquet for myself. I went to a florist that my family has known forever. A real bouquet isn't sustainable, Maya. The flowers are just going to die. We brought some of the flowers to a place that makes jewelry out of flowers. So I'm getting a necklace out of some of them, and then the rest I am going to dry, and it's going to go into that collage. I'm going to put into a shadow box. So yeah, actually, my real flowers are sustainable because drying them out and putting them into a shadow box with other miscellaneous memories from the wedding, yeah, I'd say that's pretty sustainable. And since I had succulents in it, the florist made a point to leave the roots on the succulents that I got so that I can actually plant them. So I will have succulents growing from my wedding bouquet. What about favors? Favors aren't necessarily sustainable and they're certainly not affordable. My favors absolutely slapped. I wanted glow sticks. I wanted a glow stick moment on the dance floor and I got my glow stick moment. We had glow sticks. I don't know if any of y'all remember these jelly bracelets that people would do this and just wear the bracelets like this. Is that not peak 2000s emo nostalgia? Listen, me, Casey, and Kelsey can literally go through all of them just between the 3 of us. I had so many people so excited for the bracelets. This next part is kind of niche, kind of not, but if you're a guy getting married, you probably won't care about this. If you're a bride-to-be, if you want extensions, let me tell you my more sustainable hack. Technically, this was free for me, but in general, it is cheaper. My hairdresser, Steph, is one of my closest friends, so for part of my wedding gift, we were talking about what I wanted to do with my hair because she was supposed to do my hair for my wedding. We were talking about what we were going to do with my hair and she's like, oh, so you want it down. Do you want extensions? I'm like, well, I'm thinking about it, but they're expensive. She literally bought me extensions as part of my wedding gift. She custom matched them to my hair and she tried to buy clip-ins, but they ended up being sew-ins because when she changed the hair color, it automatically changed the type of extension because for some reason Amazon does that. She attached the clips herself, so I will say clip-in extensions, the way to go. I'm changing my hair color soon. We can literally custom color these to match my hair, whatever color it is. We can do anything with them. We can quite literally use these any day. I'm not paying the ridiculous cost to have them sewn in. Clip-in extensions, if you want your hair down for your wedding day, is the way to go. If you are a bride and you want extensions for the wedding, seriously think about clip-in extensions, specifically real human hair extensions that you can color because these were everything. And I think that that is peak sustainability is by having ones that I can rewear over and over and over. By having ones that whatever hair color I have, I can make them match my hair color. That's some peak sustainability here. Instead of getting a second dress for the reception, my alterations just included a bustle, which pretty much means they just pinned up the train. One thing that we did do, we found a photographer that we absolutely adored. However, I have a handful of friends that have been burned by their wedding photographer, where they just never got the pictures back. When I told one of my friends about this, she said that also happened to her stepmom. I got very nervous. Not that I didn't trust our wedding photographer, I did. But I've seen it happen to so many of my friends that I was nervous, which I think is a normal response when you see it happen to a bunch of people. I had the great idea of, since it was a Warped Tour early 2000s themed wedding, putting old school digital cameras at the tables and having people take pictures. I was able to collect a handful of them from buy nothing groups, from friends. One of them I actually got on a really good price from an antique shop, not even a thrift store. And we put the cameras out. I think in the end, a lot of them didn't work. We ended up with 4 that worked, but one of them, once you turned it on, you couldn't turn it back off. So I think the people were struggling with that one. One of them afterwards I turned on and it said that it didn't recognize the SD card. So that was a problem. One of them, full of pictures. We got pictures back, amazing. And our photographer was so amazing that literally during the reception, there were already some photos previewing, playing on a screen during the reception. So we got our previews back literally the day after the wedding. And now the other cameras are either going back to their owners, or I have new cameras set to my camera collection, because I do collect vintage cameras, if y'all didn't know. I would say probably one of our most cost-saving decisions was we didn't buy a wedding cake. We bought sheet cake for everyone. I also got gifted a bunch of other stuff for the wedding that we didn't end up using. I got gifted a bunch of lanterns, for example, that we didn't use. What are we gonna do with all the stuff that we were gifted that we didn't use because we didn't use traditional wedding decor? Honestly, I plan to sell it on Facebook. And if people don't wanna buy it, then I'll put it in the buy nothing group, because I know how expensive weddings can be. You know, we still have extra napkins from decoupaging. We put a lot of them, anything that was left, we put out at the bar. Like, hey, use these as cocktail napkins. We still have some left because people didn't always grab napkins. So we're going to use them. Straight up, use the napkins as napkins. We're not really napkin people, but we have them, so why not use them? You know, we had an in memoriam table of family members and friends that have passed away. We had all of their photos in little frames. You know, it's family members that have passed away. I'm not throwing away those photos. It's not like we did something where it was a sign that has tacky song lyrics and that was it. We did a bunch of these. This is my dad. This is my friend Celia, who I've talked about previously. I've had an entire video about my grief over losing her. We have a bunch of these. We have family, friends, both sides. I'm sorry, but these little photo frames will literally go perfect just around the apartment. And okay, yes, we did technically have a tacky song lyric sign with them, but it was, again, something I designed in Canva, printed up, put into a dollar store frame, and its lyrics are "Welcome to the Black Parade," okay? I feel like that fits the theme. Then there's quite a few things that we've gotten a lot of questions about, that we're doing the more sustainable and or affordable route. What are we doing for a honeymoon? We're not. We took the rest of the week, technically the following week, as a little mini staycation. We stayed at home. We did go out a few times to see family from out of state that's visiting that came for the wedding. But for the most part, we stayed home and spent time together. And me, my husband, and Pip. Yes, everything that was wedding related did involve Pip, by the way. Have you met us? This is the most on brand for us thing I think we've ever done. But yeah, we just had a staycation because weddings are expensive. People kept asking me about my wedding shoes. I got white Doc Martens. And if this ain't the most me thing that you've ever seen, I will wear these all the time. People asked about our hotel block and about what we were doing for limos. We didn't do limos. We didn't do a hotel block. We chose some place that was close enough that it wasn't a very long drive. People didn't need to stay in a hotel if they still live in the vicinity. And we have a lot of friends that actually live closer to where the venue is than to where we live. The venue does have on-site Airbnbs. So I can tell you, I stayed the night before and the night of in an on-site Airbnb, and so did Gabby. Not in the same Airbnb as me. Mine was on the 4th floor, hers was on the 1st. I didn't want to choose a hotel and tell everyone, hey, this is where I think everyone should stay, because everyone has different budgets, different tastes, different everything. I just didn't want people to feel obligated to stay someplace that was either too expensive or was not what they wanted. The night before the wedding, Casey stayed in the Airbnb with me. So it was me, her, and Gabby in the same building, me and Casey in one room, Gabby downstairs. So we spent a lot of the night, the 3 of us together. I would say it definitely made getting ready easier. By being on site, we didn't need to pay for transportation from wherever we got ready to the venue. We didn't need to worry about any of that. So I would say that it probably technically saved us money. Plus, being in my wedding dress, I did not want to use the normal multi-stall bathroom that they had, because picture getting in and out of your wedding dress in one of those bathrooms. So I was able to just go up to the Airbnb and use the actual bathroom whenever I needed to go, which I think best idea I've ever had. All the bridesmaids also kind of took me up on that, and they were like, hey, can I go into your room to use the bathroom? So definitely best idea that I've had. Yeah, I would say no limo, no transportation like that. Altogether, was our wedding over budget? Yeah, it was. It was way over what we wanted to pay. But that was something that we kind of couldn't argue on. We got such a good price for the venue. Catering was definitely expensive. It was about average pricing though. That's what sucks. Catering is very expensive around here. We did cash bar instead of open bar because Lord knows your girl couldn't afford that kind of thing. I'm Portuguese and Irish. Do you know how many people drink? But we kept everything as low cost as we could and as sustainable as we could. So many things were from yard sales or from buy nothing groups or from asking friends, hey, do you have something that we can use for this? And I think that's what it comes down to. You have to think outside of the box to DIY things. You have to ask your network of people for help. You know, the water bottles that I had customized, the koozies say, I can't make it on my own. It's true. It's not just a song lyric from Hawthorne Heights. And then we pass it on. Again, am I going to try to sell some of it? Yes. Am I going to try to sell it necessarily for retail price? No, because a lot of it I did get for free or discounted from yard sales. Other things I can't get my money back on. So yes, I'm going to go and try to sell some of it. And if it doesn't sell, I'm going to post it in a buy nothing group and pass it on to other people because it'll help me a lot. Why wouldn't I spread the joy and help them back? All right, y'all, that was a lot of rambling to say that I did not have a 100% sustainable wedding, but I tried. We didn't do a goodbye. We didn't do throwing rice or throwing confetti or sparklers or anything like that. We tried to avoid things that were too extra like that. And I do feel like most people will remember my themed wedding. I've had so many older family members literally be like, that was so much fun. I didn't know what to expect from a Warped Tour wedding, but that was so much fun. And I love that. I love that so many older family members even appreciated it. People that have never been in to pop punk or the Warped Tour scene thought that it was so much fun. That's all that I want. I just wanted everyone in our lives together and to be having a good time. And now I need to deal with getting rid of everything from the wedding. My house is a disaster because we simply just packed everything up and brought it home. Although I will say, especially after all this stress, the most sustainable and low-cost way to get married would have definitely been eloping. Would have 1000% just been eloping. I have a weddings and funerals family. We literally only get together for weddings and funerals, so having a wedding was important to me to see them for a happier occasion. But if your family isn't like that, if you have a good relationship with them and you see them frequently, or if you don't care about celebrating with your family, think about eloping. It would be a lot less stress. What about you? Are you married? Have you had a wedding? Did you elope? What did you end up doing? What's your opinion on sustainability when it comes to weddings? I have a friend who, when she left her wedding, did the confetti toss, but it was all dried leaves that she'd hole punched. That is way too much time and effort for me, but like, that was so impressive that she actually did that. Do you think that sustainability and something as consumerism as wedding culture can coexist? Let me know your opinions on weddings and sustainability. If you've gotten married, what you did to be more sustainable during your wedding, what you wish that you had done to be more sustainable during your wedding, what you think in the future, if you ever get married, you would do to be more sustainable. Let me know, because I'm sure there's plenty of things I could have done that I didn't even think about. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I put out new videos every Wednesday, Sunday, and then alternating Mondays and Fridays. Every Sunday is Sustainability Sunday. So if you're here for sustainability, hey, Sunday is your day. It's not always about weddings, I promise. I just had a little vacation because I got married, and now I'm back. When you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell, otherwise YouTube will never tell you when I post new videos. It's a little bit broken like that. Also, if you enjoyed it, give the video a thumbs up. It helps a lot more than you know, genuinely. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I don't know, but I've been told the world outside is oh so cold. So cold.